Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show podcast. Today we discussed the new 5-year tourist visa and your thoughts on the big maternity leave in Dubai story.
And so, if you are not subscribed to our podcast, what are you doing? Go subscribe to the Lovin Dubai Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Good morning to everyone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, podcast. Our top stories for you today: a 5-year multiple entry tourist visa was announced for Indian visitors.
As well, hundreds came together for the Dubai Canal run this weekend, including me.
Yeah, for sure. It looked amazing. Sad to miss it. Sunrise ones, don't we love them? And the sunrise this morning was impeccable. Speaking of impeccable, we've got baby news. Sheikha Mahra and Sheikh Mana, are expecting a baby girl.
As well, witness musical magic as Atif, Aslam and the Firdaus Orchestra perform live at Coca-Cola Arena. We are going to be talking about it all.
We're also talking about maternity leave in Dubai and what one Dubai company has announced to help women, and we'd love your thoughts on that.
So, of course, it is day 146 days since the genocide began in Gaza. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip, the death toll has risen up to 29,878, while 7,215 have been injured, and more than 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes. As we all the time say, is that our hearts and prayers are with the victims of Palestine and Gaza.
Shocking statistics are coming out now in terms of famine and how 1 in 4 may be susceptible to it in Gaza. Queen Rania of Jordan made an impeccable speech at the Web Summit in Doha last night. If you'd like to see that, check out our Lovin Doha page or our Lovin Amman page. She spoke incredibly firmly for the people of Gaza, and we just hope that the world listens. Good morning to everyone. We see so many people tuning in on Instagram. Good morning from the Philippines. Good morning, Pilot Rizwan. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. We love your support. Omar, Beast Fawaz, good morning to our listeners on our podcast. So, a little bit of a knowledge for you.
Tomorrow's leap year, you guys. And Katie just shared the most shocking information ever. I mean, when she told me that, I was like,
you
whoa.
Never knew about the leap year tradition?
I never knew. And I was like, oh my God, that would have been perfect if I knew that back then. I would have used it to my advantage.
Well, you can use it every 4 years, Farah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, you know what? You should tell them. What is it?
So according to Irish folklore tradition, and I don't even want to use the wording because the wording is so archaic, but yet every leap year, so once every 4 years, it's the ladies' privilege, it's also known as Bachelor's Day, that we can go propose to men. And it was kind of like this underlying, this little tradition kind of known in Ireland until Amy Adams came along and made a very questionable movie about it. But she kind of brought it to the table that, okay, women can propose on this day. Not they can, we can propose any day, but it's a special magical day that proposals are allowed for women. So men, watch out.
Girls, would you propose to your man? I could never. I mean, I could never. Casey, literally, I have this thing in my head. It's like, no. Sorry.
We're struggling.
I have this thing in my head, hey, I'm like the girl, and all I want is just queen energy, and I'm not gonna accept anything less than that.
Your audio's down, sorry. We need to get your mic.
Okay.
Would love your thoughts. Would you propose? The thing is, we ask for equality in every fork of life. We want equality. We need to be paid the same amount. We need to be, working conditions need to be the same. There should be equality between men and women. So why are we so behind on the proposals?
I mean, look, let's be real, all right? We have throughout tradition. Oh
you gotta get that.
Down.
You have to get the thingy.
Okay, sorry guys for that.
This is what happens when you talk about superstitions. This is what happens when you talk about superstitions. Okay, would you propose to your man? I wouldn't, but yet it pains me that we're so behind. But I do think in the last couple of years, the more we talk about dating and the more let's say, for example, like dating apps like Bumble allow women to take the first move. These types of things, like, I think we'll be having a very different conversation, hopefully in 10 years' time. But I think on both parties, any proposal for marriage, because it's a life commitment, you should know the answer.
Yeah, but then if you want to think about it in a way, is that making a first move is completely different from like proposing. I mean, it's a huge step, right?
Yeah, so why is it in the man's hands?
Yeah, because we're born with that.
But this is why I think in 10 years' time, the conversation will change. So like
Maybe.
20, 30 years ago, it was different to how our parents dated. Now the dating scene is very different. Women are taking the first move. And the reason apps like Bumble work so well is because it feels like a safer space for women. Like sometimes people don't want unwanted advances. It's very different asking for a first date versus asking for marriage. But essentially, marriage is a life commitment that usually it's a decision that people make when they come together. So probably maybe we should just remove the proposal.
Just no, I mean, towards like the end, like at the end of it, I would say is that, like I would like maybe make the first move. I've done that a couple of times, maybe. But I mean, like going down on one knee and asking a guy to stay with me for the rest of his life, it's like, I don't know.
But you can, I'm not saying I would, I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate,
Yes.
But you can decide how it's done. Like going down on one knee. Why?
Because
society tells you to? I don't know. Sorry, Hisham, you had a point there. I love a male's perspective on this. Hisham, I can't agree with that statement. Sorry, Hisham just said, no offense to females and males, but it's with the man because life responsibility is in his hands. He has more. What more life responsibilities do you have, Hisham? Sorry, I can't. Why do you have to get the house?
this is our, yeah. This is actually a response. This is actually a tradition between all Arabs in the Arab region. Technically, the man is more responsible for the whole marriage thing. He pays for all of the for everything, for the wedding and so on. But as he said, after marriage, it's like often like the woman.
But has time changed? Because that was kind of similar. And I know every culture is different. Back in the day, it was the case that either the man's or the woman's family would pay for it, and then responsibilities change. But in the last 5-10 years, we have to recognize that times have changed. Families aren't able to support these big weddings as before. And the reality is, as a working man and woman, you have salaries that together you put it towards the wedding. So times have changed a lot, that actually the full brunt of the wedding doesn't go to the man as much. So it needs to be recognized that actually females probably contribute a lot more than we're recognizing.
That is true, but in the Arab world, they don't recognize that. Like, for example, I do understand that and I would do that. But for example, like my community and the Arab community overall would be like, no, if he cannot pay for the full wedding and if he cannot provide a house and if he cannot provide all of these things, no, we are not going to be giving you... We're not going to be accepting this marriage. And it's like, it is, the times have changed for us, for this generation, because, like with globalization and all of these things that have been happening, but not to our parents because they grew up with that mentality. So I think Masa and Hisham can for sure agree with me on that.
Yeah, you can't fight parents and traditions.
No.
That is so true. There's no... It's like who are you inviting to the wedding, and parents whatever they want, regardless of who's paying for it, that goes. That is true. We digress. So anyway, leap year in Ireland, it officially grants women permission to propose.
And you can test your boyfriend as well. Yeah. And that's something I want to. I'd propose and just be like, if he says no or like, oh, I'm not ready or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, so see, I knew it. I knew it that you were lying to me. And he would be like, oh God, like this drama girl, bye.
I love that. It's a time to test the men.
Yes.
It's 8:40. We're going to jump into our top story. This went live on Instagram yesterday. We want to note that it's not new information, but it was recently re-announced. A 5-year multiple entry tourist visa announced for Indian visitors to the UAE, to Dubai. A game-changing visa for Indian tourists has been announced. It's valid for 5 years with multiple entry. Visitors can stay up to 90 days per visit, with extensions available up to 180 days annually. This is according to Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism. The visa processing takes 2 to 5 business days, allowing Indians a stay of 90 days per year.
As well, this is big news for Indian tourists coming to Dubai to apply. You'll need a passport that is valid for at least 6 months. Of course, 6 months bank statements showing at least INR 330,000, meaning $4,000 in funds, health insurance, return flight tickets, and passport size photos.
A lot of questions were like, how many countries can get this opportunity? But like we said, it's not new information. It was recently re-announced in India, so the headlines are going viral. So there's the information on that, and we have it on our feed as well if you want to rehash the details.
Yes, for sure. Now, I want to jump to our next story, which, by the way, I was there. I watched the sunrise. If you guys don't know me, I adore the sunrise. Hundreds came together for the Dubai Canal run this weekend. Of course, by the way, which was really nice. Now, the Sukoon and Bupa Global Dubai Canal run took place this Saturday, where all participants had the choice to either pick a 1, 3, or 5 kilometer run. And I was there. It started at 6:30 a.m. right around sunrise, which was beautiful. Participants had a stretching session before the run, and even fresh juice if you wanted just like a break, and food was as well available. Now the best part was the health checkup provided, and a lot of kids participated too, which was very cute.
I saw the videos. Like, it was such a great community event, and it was early in the morning, but science actually says waking up early has many benefits, from better sleep to improved mental health and so on, and so this was a good way to change those habits, because sometimes I find I get FOMO when I look at these videos and I'm thinking, what was I doing in bed? Like, there's always such great community spirit at these runs. The Dubai Canal run is such a beautiful place for these runs. I've done it before, by the way. And you just like waking up there in Dubai at this time of year. It's so fresh and so beautiful.
It is. I mean, I went there and I was like, because it was like, you know, a weekend, and I was thinking the whole time like, hey, what am I doing? It's the weekend. I want to sleep. I'd rather be in bed. That's what I thought at the beginning. But then when I saw everyone, literally, Katie, I'm not even joking, I was like, this is what I love. Because I love moving my body, and I think I've talked about my morning routine and my night routine back on the show back then. I walk every day after every meal. So seeing all of that, I was like, that's beautiful. And sunrise just like for some reason just like energizes me. It just activates a lot of things and a lot of like energy, you know what I mean? And I even came back home. I wasn't even tired. I was happy. And you just get like a hold of like a full day.
So true.
Literally. It's like, because we do miss out on a lot when we're sleeping. I realize.
Love that. And it's an annual run. So if you had FOMO like I did this year, make sure you get involved next year. And major shout out for an impeccable event run by the team down there.
100%. Now, guys, we have some good news for you. A royal baby is coming. Sheikh Mahra and Sheikh Manna are expecting a baby girl. In a cute Instagram post, Sheikh Mahra and Sheikh Manna announced that they are going to have a baby girl. The due date hasn't been disclosed yet, but the royal princess of Dubai may be close to her delivery due date, as per the couple has announced in October 2023.
On the occasion of Sheikha Mahra's 30th birthday, an intimate celebration that combined her pink-themed birthday party with a gender reveal that was fully planned by Sheikha Mahra's husband. It was so beautiful to see everyone there.
As well, Her Highness Sheikha Mahra has tied the knot to her fiancé Sheikh Manna Al Maktoum back in 2023 in a cute Katib Kitab ceremony, which is a wedding in Arabic. Like, they just like sign the papers, and then the father goes like, yeah, oh, I give you my daughter.
It was more than cute. It was a lavish.
I mean, to them it's cute. He's the sheikh, right? So to them it's like, to them it's like, oh yeah, that's little tiny. But to us, it's like, wow, it's big. Because like he's like the Sheikh, of course. So he's going to be having like the huge Kitbiktab ceremony. But yeah, they had like this cutest Kitbiktab ceremony. And as mentioned in like the Arab community or like Gulf region, it's everywhere. Or even Muslim, by the way. They have like, they don't call it wedding. They call it Kitb Kitab. Like, because like you are actually signing a paper. So Kitb means write. Kitab means book. Which is like beautiful. Yeah, it's very cute.
The marriage contract.
Literally.
I just remember seeing the beautiful photos because it's very rare that we get a glimpse of a royal wedding here.
That's true.
And it's kind of been a really great thing that we get to know the family a little bit more because they shared the wedding photos and then they traveled and they shared vacation photos. And this is just the next step at a gender reveal. And just to see the two of them smiling and the fact that they shared those photos, it gives a real insight into their family life that we love.
100% can't wait to see the royal baby soon, for sure. I mean, it's going to be one of the because we don't get to see a lot about royals, you know what I mean? And she just like posted, she looks very cute. She posted the celebration, you know, that combined her birthday and as well her. So happy birthday, by the way, to you, Sheikha Mahra, of course. If you are watching, that would be amazing. But I actually can't wait to see the royal baby. They are so in love. She even had like this cute just on her Instagram. I would say,
oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forget sometimes that there's people watching and that I can't sing.
It's okay.
Speaking of someone who can sing, let's jump into our next story.
It's okay. So our next story is Atif, Aslam, and the Firdaus Orchestra will perform live at Coca-Cola Arena. So you can experience the magic once again. Atif, Aslam, and the Firdaus Orchestra are back for a night you will not forget. Be a part of this impeccable evening at Coca-Cola Arena on March 2nd at 9 a.m. for an unforgettable night of soulful melodies and symphonic brilliance, of course, from Gina to Dil Diyan Galan.
That is 9 p.m. and this is a concert you will not want to miss. Experience the heart and soul of his music like never before. We know tickets like for this are going to fly, so if you want to get them now. Starting from 100 dirham, you can get them at coca-colaarena.com. Get your tickets ASAP. It's not going to be one that you want to miss. And like I said, they'll fly. So get on to Coca-Cola Arena now. 8:47, let's jump into our next story. Maternity leave has been extended to 70 days by this Dubai company. Alpha Nero is a Dubai-based retail design and production company. They have announced a new 70-day paid maternity leave policy. This is actually, as they noted, the first for an SME, small to medium enterprise, in the region within the manufacturing industry to champion better working environments for women by extending the statutory maternity leave policy, which, by the way, currently sits at 60 days. 45 days of those are fully paid and 15 days of those are half paid.
The small company commented that the company carries a mission to enhance work-life balance for female employees, giving them a chance to have fulfilling careers and spend enough time with families as mothers and caretakers to avoid the harmful effects of burnout.
Interestingly, we love updates when kind of private companies, I guess, make a move beyond the expectations of what the government says. So in this case, they went from 60 days to 70 days full paid. So it's amazing to see that. However, the responses were a bit of a mixed bag, with many people jumping in just questioning, is 70 days enough? You know, and like, could we do more? But I still think on a small company level, it's amazing what they've done. But the comments are asking, is it enough?
Of course, you know, because when a mother just gives birth and has a baby, specifically if she is a new mother, it's not easy to immediately adapt to the, you know, like having a new baby and taking care of the baby and all of these things. So I would understand where the comments come from, but the fact that they have, as you said, it's a small company and they have changed it from 60 days to 70 days. That is a good improvement. Of course, you never know what's going to happen in the future, right? So that is, as I said, it's a good improvement. The fact that they have acknowledged that, and they have acknowledged, because actual psychological burnout and all of these things will be there if you're like, you just gave birth and you have to take care of the new baby and you have your job and you have all of these things. You're not going to be able to juggle between all of these things. So this leave is, I would say, very beneficial.
Yeah, it was Mona Katan agrees.
She does.
Yes, she praised the move, so I think that's pretty cool to see. She acknowledged it on the post. Other people kind of said, some countries get 6 months, but I think that's more of a comment as a general rather than towards the company. But as you said, caring for a baby, like I can't even imagine. Like we'd love to get mom's thoughts on this, by the way. If you're a mom and you're watching, but it has to be acknowledged that a lot of people have done 45 days and gone back to work. A lot of people have done 60, so some people don't have the, like you may have to go back after this time, and people have done it. So if you have done it and you're watching the show right now, we'd love you to drop us a comment. If you're listening on podcast, feel free to DM us later. We love your thoughts. And if you'd like to comment on the story publicly also, we'd love to get that as well. So send us a DM right now or later in the show. Do you think 60 days is enough? Have you done it? And what was that like for you?
100%.
Okay, 8:51, which means it is time for our next guest. He's watching, pacing back and forth behind us in the copy room. We're going to be joined by Swerte very, very shortly. He'll be with us after this very short break. Do stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. Our next guest is a rapper, sound engineer and music producer based in Dubai. He's a founding member of The Recipe, a pioneering hip-hop collective since 2008. He goes way back. Welcome to the show, Swerte. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you.
And my first question for you is that you go by your stage name, Swerte, but also your name is Lucky.
Yeah. Luki. Spelled Lucky, but pronounced Luki.
Luki, all right. So if you can just tell us about that. Tell us about your stage name and where do you get that from, and as well about.
So in Indonesia, I went to an American high school. Well, it was an international school, but American curriculum, and I had a lot of Filipino friends, and they read my name as Lucky, and Swerte is Lucky in Tagalog. So they started calling me Swerte. And then when I decided to get to start rapping and do music and stuff, I just decided to stick with Swerte as the stage name.
Because when I was reading it, I was like, is Lucky the stage name or is Swerte the stage name?
It's really funny when I bring my pets to the vet and they start talking to my cat or my dog like, hey, Lucky, how are you doing? It's
so back then, when they started calling you Swerte, were you doing music then, or when did you?
No, I didn't start doing music until I was 15 or 16. But they started calling me Swerte since I was 8 years old or something like that. But yeah, when I started doing music, I was like, oh, I gotta have a stage name, and it was like, what should my stage name be? And I was like, I really like Swerte, so I'll just go with that.
What did starting music what did that entail? When did you realize that A, you liked it, loved it, and B, it was your passion?
I knew I wanted to do music when I first watched my brother perform in a marching band. So he was in a high school marching band, and in Indonesia, it's a big thing. They have huge marching band competitions, and I must have been 9, 10 years old or something, and we went into this huge indoor stadium for this competition, and as a kid seeing this huge crowd and then this massive marching band come in, and it's not like they just play stationary, they do all the moves and stuff. So just that loud experience with that crowd and seeing everyone cheer, I was just I want this. This vibe, this feel, I want this, and that's probably the first time that music, especially live music, had an impact on me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of huge, you recently posted that you were part of the Vulture Reds for Kanye.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Exactly. So tell us more about that. How was it like? Because clearly you're that huge that you participated with Kanye.
So when I wanted to, when I decided that I wanted to take music a little bit more seriously, I decided to study sound engineering. And from that, I then wanted to be a little bit more specialized. So there's a industry standard music software called Pro Tools. And so I decided that I wanted to study that and become a certified Pro Tools operator, which is what I eventually became. And then I moved to Dubai, and in Dubai, like my day job is a sound engineer. You know, that's what I do. I work with sound, whether that be making my own music, whether that be making music for other people, whether that be you know, doing sound design for TVCs and stuff like that. But that's what I do. And then end of November, all of a sudden I get a phone call, and they're like, "Hey, Kanye's in town, and he's working on his album, and they specifically want a certified Pro Tools operator, and there's not many of them here, and there's only one of them that's like into hip hop, and that's you. So would you, you know, could you do it? Like, would you be up for it?"
Wow.
And I was like, let me think about it. Work with Kanye?
I'm sorry, what type of phone call is that? That like, that's peak. You get a phone call saying Kanye's in town, he wants to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was looking for a Pro Tools engineer, and you're like one of the few. Yeah, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, his team probably reached like they've been here a few times. His engineers are DJs as well, so they come into town and they DJ over here. So they know some people out here, and I guess they just reached out to all the different studios and stuff. And you know, I've worked with a lot of people here, and so they all know that I'm a Pro Tools operator. They know what I do. And so they were all just like, yeah, there's only one guy for the job. So
We've got to ask, what was he like to work with?
He was actually the most down to earth one there. Like it was really bizarre because like he came up to me and introduced himself to me. Wow. He was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Ye." And I was like, "Yeah, of course.
Of course, I know you. Like, you know? Of course."
And yeah, he was just normal, you know. Like it was so surreal. Like I think like all of us in the room were kind of in shock when he walked in because we didn't expect him to be there that day. So when he came in, it was just like, "Oh my God, he's here!" You know. Even the other like, you know, musicians and stuff, they were shocked that he was there. Like he has that type of presence, you know.
Yeah.
But he himself, like, just a normal guy. You know, he was just like, "What are you guys doing? Show me what you guys are working on."
Cool.
Yeah.
That's actually very cool because I'm a fan of Kanye myself. So if you see him next time, just tell him that.
You tell him.
Just tell him that. It's okay. So actually, what inspired you to bring like Indonesian music to Dubai?
So my father is Swiss. My mother's Indonesian.
Okay.
And my whole life, I've had this sort of, I don't know if you call it a struggle, but like maybe an infatuation with identity.
Yeah.
Because in Indonesia, even though I was born and I grew up there, my Indonesian family considers me Swiss.
Okay.
Right? But then when I go to Switzerland, my Swiss family considers me Indonesian. Right? And early on, it bothered me, but then like I started looking at the similarities between the two cultures, you know, because that's who I am. And this infatuation with finding similarities between cultures and finding these bridges is really, really important to me, you know? And so one thing when I started making music in Dubai that I wanted to do was use music to bridge the cultures around the world, right? So I wanted to showcase my culture in my music, and also I wanted to start making collaborations between musicians here in the Middle East and musicians back home. And hopefully one day we can like, you know, fly these artists back and forth and have Indonesian artists over here and Middle Eastern artists in Indonesia. Yeah.
Bridging cultures and that the question of third generation kids is obviously a big topic of conversation here. Did that have any bearing on why you chose to move to Dubai?
Yeah, big reason why I came here. I think it's the one city in the world where I feel like I belong because no one belongs in a way, you know, like this is, there's so many people here that aren't from here, you know, and there's so many people that are mixed and have this a sort of similar background to me that I feel like this is the capital of third culture people.
I mean, this is what makes Dubai, Dubai.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So
I mean, look at us right here. Like, you know,
like we're all from different countries, which is just like, and we all get along perfectly well, which is very nice. So you go with the saying, going with the soul.
Yeah.
What, if you can tell me, what is that, and why do you actually use that? What does it mean for
Going
you?
with the soul.
Yeah, going with the soul.
I think that as a musician, as an artist, one thing that I try to strive for, and a lot of the artists that I speak to, we try to strive for, is to be as honest as possible in your music and in your expression. Whether that be in your music and whether that is personally by yourself. And one day I was talking with an artist, we were working in the studio and stuff, and it kind of just came out, like, just go with your soul. Like, sometimes you're up here too much, and a lot of the times you just have to go with your gut instinct. And I feel like your gut instinct is your soul telling you, like, who you really are and what you really want, and that kind of just stuck with me.
That's beautiful.
I love that. What's your creative process like for creating? Do you find it easy to find inspiration and to finish something, or is it a long path?
I find a lot of inspiration while I'm driving. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but like things just, while I'm driving, ideas just enter my brain.
Allow ourselves time to think when we're driving.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe there's like a meditative process while you're driving in that chaos, right? So I send myself a lot of voice notes. Like, I'll just get ideas and I'll just like grab my phone and just be like, blah, 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 blah.
I love that.
And then there's no formula to creating. People are always like, oh, do you work on the drums first? Do you work on the lyrics first? Do you work on this first? And it's like, I learned probably in 2017 when me and the group The Recipe, we were mentored by a hip-hop pioneer called Glenn Sweetie G. Toby. He came into town and he stayed with us for about 3 months, mentoring us and showing us how the hip-hop industry works and stuff. And the one thing that he, we thought, okay, when we go in the studio, we have to work on music that's for a specific project. Like, it either has to be for a single or it has to be for an album or something like that. And he was like, no, just go in and make music. Do whatever you feel like. We'll worry about that later. And that really opened my eyes to, like, you know what, like, you, again, go with your soul. Like, go in, and if you feel like writing lyrics today, write lyrics. If you feel like working on drums, work on drums. If you feel like just messing around and making noise, mess around and make noise, yeah.
Speaking of going with your gut instinct and going with the soul, what draws you to collaborate with artists like Perfect Storm?
Perfect Storm. He's like a brother to me. Shout out to Perfect Storm. He's having a kid next month, so excited for that. Paternity leave and everything. When I moved to Dubai, this is part of my Indonesian culture. When you go to somebody's house, you're a guest. Yeah, you don't just walk into someone's house and put your feet up on the table and stuff like that. So when I first moved to Dubai, I didn't want to just start going around and be like, hey, I'm this new musician in town. I'm a sound engineer. I'm this and that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel right. So I came into town and I wanted to, I became a fan of the scene. I wanted to know who was doing what, who were the musicians here, what were they about, what's the music scene out here like, Mind you, this is back in 2006. Like, there was a music scene, but there wasn't a lot going on. But what was going on was really interesting because it was super unique to Dubai. And Perfect Storm was a local legend already at that time. And what drew me to him was just his writing capability. Like, he was so good at not only expressing himself, but putting things in a way that just were so smart, but so simple at the same time, And yeah, like, I finally worked up the courage to approach him one night in a club and introduce myself to him, because I really was a fan. I was like, oh my God, like, okay, I'm gonna try and work with this guy. And we've become brothers. Like, he's literally like a brother to me now. Like, from that day forward, like, I really haven't done anything musically in the city without him. He's come with me on tours to support me on tours and stuff back in Indonesia. Yeah, that's my brother right there.
Amazing that these bonds can be formed. Can you describe how to phrase this? Can you describe your thoughts on how the music scene has changed?
Oh, it's changed so much.
Since you came here in 2000.
It's changed so much. Just in terms of support, you know, I think it took a while for brands and industry leaders to really trust in the local community. I remember when we started doing things, even up to 2011, 2013, probably even later than that, like 2015, 2016, like brands were a little bit reluctant to work with local artists, you know, and feature them on billboards and do like full on, you know, commercials and stuff with them. And that's changed a lot now. And to see that kind of support for musicians and artists and stuff is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I think we're now slowly, I think it's happening quicker now, like exponentially, getting to a point where musicians are going to really just be able to be musicians and make a living from their art and their craft, you know, without having to rely on a day job or something like that. Yeah.
It's taken time.
Yeah.
It has. So would you try to adopt new genres of music?
I think new genres of music are being made every single day, you know. Again, back when we started making music, like if you wanted to make music, you had to go to someone who could afford the equipment, you know, or go to a professional studio and stuff. But nowadays, like programs that make music are so easily available. You buy a Mac and it comes with GarageBand, and you can start making music on that. So because of this, you know, people can make music in their bedrooms, and kids can start just messing around on their laptops, you know, like when they're supposed to be doing homework. And you know, new genres are just being made every day, and I'm all for it. You know, it's exciting.
It's 9/11 and we're really running out of time, but I really just wanted to get a rundown on the recipe, how you guys are doing,
Mm-hmm.
and also like just a quick history behind how it started. I know, and we've got like 4 minutes, but I wanted to shout out it as a local group doing cool things and like how it started, who's involved.
Okay, so
sorry.
So back in 2007, 2008,
yeah.
You know, as I mentioned, there was a tiny music scene here. But in terms of a music community, in hip hop, there really was no community. And maybe this is just because of the, you know, competitive nature of hip hop, that everyone thought they were better than the other or whatever, and no one really wanted to work together. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make a compilation album and get everyone to work together. And the only rule that I have is you can have your own song on the compilation, but you have to do a collaboration song with 2 other artists, okay? And we'll put this compilation together.
Cool.
The whole 3 months of the summer in 2008, I managed to get 14 artists into the studio, which was in the back of my friend's villa in Barsha. And we eventually made this compilation that was called The Recipe Volume 1. And then not long after that, there was a local promoter who was doing like local monthly band nights. His name is Nickel. Shout out to Nickel. And he decided that he wanted to do local hip hop nights. And people told him, oh, if you want to get in touch with the hip hop community, they're all in this one studio every night. And the guy that's organizing, his name is Swerte. You should go reach out to him. So he reached out to us. He reached out to me. And then I was like, hey, yeah, like, you know, let's do it. And I was like, why don't we start with a bang? Why don't you just book all of us, all 14 of us on stage, you know? And he was like, okay, yeah, sure. And we then billed it as the first time that local hip hop acts would headline their own show. Because it really was the first time that local hip hop acts put on their own event and headline their own show. Before that, it was opening for Coolio, opening for 50 Cent. It was just as opening acts, right? This is the first time we had people fly in from Bahrain, from Qatar, from Saudi. It was packed. And people started calling us artists from the recipe, and then it just became the recipe. And since then, we started acting as sort of an independent label, working on not just group projects, but also individual solo projects and stuff. We released our first official commercial album in 2017 that you can find on all the streaming platforms. It's called Funerals in Purgatory. And since then, we've been focusing on our solo careers. Yeah, and that's where we're at now. Kaz Money, from 14 people, there's now only 3 of us. There's Kaz Money, me, Swerte, and Perfect Storm. Kaz Money now lives in Sweden. He's releasing music over there. P Storm is soon. So you have to release your music soon, okay? He's gonna be releasing his music soon. And I'm now signed to a label in Indonesia, and I release my music, my solo music, from a label out in Bali, actually. Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah. Bringing people together through music. We love it, working at it. If people want to find your music, how can they do that? We've run out of time, but if we can give a quick shout out to how they can find you.
Just go on my Instagram, @SwerteMC, and everything is there in the link in my bio.
Thank you so much for your time today. It was so cool to get a rundown of hip-hop music scene in the last, I guess, 2 decades in the UAE. So really cool.
Yeah, wow, I'm that old.
Guys, that is all we have time for the Lovin Dubai show this morning. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in, and to our listeners on our podcast. We'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
You nailed that extra host there.
Thank you.